Welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K24 Next Gen. And in today's video, it is finally time to do a Portland Trail Blazers rebuild. They've gone through all the blockbuster moves of the offseason. This new young core is ready to take over, and I'm very excited for this one today. So as I'm sure many of you know, the Portland Trail Blazers have been very busy lately. Obviously making two blockbuster deals over the past week. The first one, a 3-team deal with the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. We saw that trade send Damian Lillard to Milwaukee, going to be teaming up with Giannis in one of the scariest duos in the NBA. And then the second one coming just a few days ago, they made it with the Boston Celtics. They sent them Drew Holiday, who obviously was kind of the main piece that came back in the Damian Lillard deal. So this Trailblazers team is obviously rebuilding. They're not really going to be competitive this season. At least I don't expect them to. I mean, who the hell knows what's going to happen. But this is a team that has done a really good job of kind of turning a corner and moving in a new direction. So A-plus job by their front office. I really like the moves they've made so far. Obviously, our goal today is, bring them a championship in 3 seasons. So definitely a lofty goal, but this one's going to be fun. And of course, let me know any other video ideas down below in the comments section. I've set a kind of lofty goal of having all the rebuilds done by NBA tip-off. And again, that might be a little too lofty. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but we're going to try to get as many teams done as possible. Of course, we're always open to doing the challenges. We're going to kick off all those series very shortly now that we are into October. But yeah, man, 2K24 has been fun so far. Obviously, the NBA offseason is always great. There's just always so much drama. There's always trades, always big things going on. That's why we all love it so much. But yeah, man, this Trailblazers team is obviously ready to go with the youth movement. They are ready to go in a new direction. Let's see if we can get them a championship. Let's go over this Portland Trailblazers roster. Obviously, some nice young pieces, some older veterans, and I think it is a good mix. Let's just dive into it. So we're going to make some trades before year one. I'm not going to completely blow up this team by any means, but there's definitely some things I think we can do. So starting out with Malcolm Brogdon. Obviously came over in the Drew Holiday trade. He won a 6th Man of the Year last year. And his relationship with obviously the Celtics never really ended too well. So they weren't happy about how the Celtics kind of dealt with his injury. And then when Marcus Smart got traded, he thought he could be in line to potentially start. And then Derek White got given the job, and shit kind of hit the fan. So I'm happy for Malcolm. He was great for us, for the awesome Celtics fan. For the majority of his time in Boston, it was obviously a very short stop. I hope he does well in Portland or wherever he may be traded, because I definitely could actually trade him before year one starts. Scoot Henderson, the number 3 overall pick in last year's draft. We are very excited to see what he can be for us. He's definitely going to be my starting point guard, so I'm hoping to develop him very quickly. We have Skylar Mays here as well. He's 26 at a 70 overall. Probably not going to see much out of him. Anthony Simons is here. He's 24 at an 83 overall. He develops typically very well. All likelihood will be here the entire time. Shaedon Sharpe is here. Honestly, might move him to my starting small forward spot. I think he has a lot of potential, and I definitely want to maximize on that. So 6'5", maybe a little bit undersized for a small forward in today's NBA, but it shouldn't matter too much. Rajon, is it Rayan? I thought it was Rajon. I don't know. But yeah, 2nd round pick this past draft. We'll see what we can do with him. Matisse Thybulle here actually ended up, I believe, agreeing to a deal with Dallas, or at least an offer sheet, and then I believe Portland actually matched it. So interesting. But yeah, good defensive piece. Power forward spot is an interesting one for me. Obviously, the Trailblazers ended up giving Jeremy Grant quite a bit of money in free agency. They did not let him leave. He's almost 30 years old, so doesn't necessarily fit the timeline of this team too well, but again, we'll kind of go year to year with him. I would not be surprised if Portland in real life maybe looked at offers at some point in time for him. Obviously, it would have to be a little while, but you know what I'm saying. Chris Murray is here. Jabari Walker. Kevin Knox is second. Tumani Kamara also came over in that 3-team deal for obviously Damian Lillard, and there's some decent depth here. Then the center spot. DeAndre Ayton was one of the pieces going to Portland again in the Damian Lillard trade. He's 25 years old. The former number 1 overall pick has maybe not panned out as well as some people may have hoped. Obviously, it does not help his case. Luka Doncic was also in that draft and definitely was available, obviously, at number 1. But he's 25 years old at an 83 overall. We'll see. Robert Williams is here. He was definitely a fan favorite in Boston, obviously on a beautiful contract and when healthy. Just an absolutely insane defensive presence. I think Blazers fans are really going to like this guy. He's awesome. He really is. Moses Brown here as well. So there definitely could be a trade or two. I think Malcolm Brogdon could potentially be on his way out. He just really doesn't fit the timeline here. If I can try to send him to a contender, I will. Not, it's not a realistic rebuild anyway, so let's find some trades. So I've been heavily considering 2 different trade offers for Malcolm Brogdon. This is the first and ultimately the one I am going to take. It's with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Again, this is not a realistic rebuild. I can try to send Brogdon to a contender, but it is what it is. And then I also considered this one here with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, obviously, both these trades net me a 1st-round pick in next year's upcoming draft, but the reason I'm more leaning towards the Thunder's trade is because Micic is on a multi-year deal, which means I'm not going to lose him for nothing come free agency, whereas Mike Conley is 36 years old. Sure, Malcolm Brogdon's an upgrade. I'm sure Minnesota would definitely like this trade, But I really don't think Mike Conley is going to have very many long-term benefits for me. So Micic is almost 30. Don't get me wrong. It's weird kind of making a trade like this because we're not really getting any younger, but whoever we draft is definitely going to be more beneficial. So making this trade with the Thunder, maybe they want a veteran guard on their team. I have absolutely no idea. I'm not really going to try to paint a narrative here. We're just making a trade. So that's our first trade. We could have a few more. And then our final trade is going to come here with the Utah Jazz. We're sending them Moses Brown, Kevin Knox, and our second-round pick this year for Romeo Langford, and I cannot pronounce this dude's name, but Simone Fontecchio. I call him Simon Feta Cheese, but Romeo Langford's going to come in here. He's going to be my new backup shooting guard because I did go ahead and move Shaedon Sharpe to the 3. As I mentioned, I want to maximize his minutes. I think there's a lot of potential there. So he is going to be my starting small forward. But Langford is going to come in. He's going to back up Simons, obviously Henderson, and Micic here. And then the center spot, I know there's probably some discourse or some arguments that maybe Ayton and Robert Williams both start. I don't really love that fit together in a front court. And then you have to also remember the fact that you do have Jeremy Grant here. I mean, probably can play the 3 in today's NBA, but I don't know. I just don't love that fit. I would prefer one of Ayton or Rob Will coming off the bench. Robert Williams came off the bench for the Celtics basically the majority of his career anyways, so it is what it is. But let's set this rotation for year 1. We're all set here for year 1 in Portland. Funny enough, I actually just checked. Our first-round pick is owned by the Chicago Bulls. I'm not sure exactly what trade that dates back to, but it is lottery protected. So if we are, not a playoff team, we're a lottery team, we're going to have our draft pick, which I fully expect us to kind of be. So, anyways, here's how it's shaking out for year 1. Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, Jeremy Grant, and DeAndre Ayton. Bench unit's going to be led by Robert Williams III, Matisse Thybulle, Vasile Micic, Romeo Langford, and Chris Murray. So, obviously, some decent veterans in here, a lot of young talent, and again, hopefully this is kind of a development year. I do not want to be like a play-in team. I'd rather suck and have the good draft pick and go from there. So, excited to see what this team can do for year 1. Again, hopefully it's not great things, but hopefully some good development nonetheless. I'll see you guys at the end of year 1. Year 1 comes to a close and we go 25-57. Obviously that is not a great record and maybe we're not feeling good about this season, but it's hopefully going to give us a good draft pick and we can finally look ahead to building a championship caliber roster. Ja Morant is your MVP. Obviously this game does not really incorporate his suspension, meaning he played all 82 because I don't play with injuries on, but it was a very impressive season nonetheless. Victor Wembanyama, Chris Paul. I go through these fast because they're the same thing every time. They really are. Ooh, actually don't see that one too much. Steph Curry, Clutch Player of the Year, and then Nick Nurse, Coach of the Year. So we are not obviously a playoff team. We're not even a play-in team. That's kind of exactly what I was hoping for in terms of the full standings. We had the second worst record in the West. Wow, the Dallas Mavericks and Kings were bad. That's a little bit of a surprise. And then what's that? That's actually the second worst record in all of basketball. So that's good. Hopefully we have a very successful lottery. And that's not the right menu. And again, hopefully a high draft pick. Let's take a look at the numbers on the year. Simons, Henderson, Grant, Ayton, Sharpe, Rob Will, Thybulle, Langford, Murray, Micic. And then, rebounds is going to be Ayton, and assists was Scoot Henderson. So let's just sim through the playoffs real quick. We're obviously hoping this is kind of our one and only year as a non-playoff team, because I really do think this team kind of has the makeup, oh my God, Steph Curry, of being really good next year. It is going to be a Philadelphia and a Golden State final. And James Harden, we're still waiting on that trade in real life. And the Sixers win it all, and James Harden finally gets the ring. Well, 2K thinks anyways if James Harden stays in Philly, they're winning it all. I personally do not. But let's just sim through the rest of this real quick. All right, Hall of Fame inductees, Chris Paul. Jersey retirements, Chris Paul and Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is probably a Hall of Famer. And, let's just sim through the draft lottery, because obviously this is big for us. That pick there is projected number 2. Obviously, it is, lottery protected. So let's see, what's it going to be for us? And we fall all the way to 5, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. All right, Chauncey Billups actually has pretty decent ratings. Those are ratings that I can definitely live with. I think if maybe we put together a pretty good team next year and we still suck, that's when we have more of a conversation, but those are good enough ratings for now. And then let's head up to the draft. Obviously, the 5th overall pick is a really big selection and a really big deal. We also have 17 from the Thunder. This Warriors pick came over in the Celtics trade. And then we have pick 4 in round at number 2. So right now what I have to decide is, do I want to keep this draft pick and draft somebody and hope that they can be really good for us, or do I potentially want to move it and go from there? So I have not yet decided, so hang with me. We're going to try to work on a deal here in New York and see if we can pick up Julius Randle. I think he's an upgrade over Jeremy Grant, and I really think he would help us compete next year, hopefully as a playoff team. So just looking at the numbers, obviously there's some pretty major differences between Randle and Jeremy Grant. And again, maybe these could be situational or minutes or, team or whatever it may be. I'm still taking Julius Randle. So I'm not going to offer up the number 5 overall pick, but I would be willing to move on from 17 and basically every other draft pick we have this year. Again, I don't really think any of these other picks are going to be too beneficial for us. And then how about some players? I have some players here that I'd be willing to trade. Like, if you want, honestly, if you want Jabari Walker, you can probably have him. Wow, that's it. All right, I just don't think Jabari Walker is going to play, honestly. We pick up Julius Randle. I think he's an upgrade. I think that's really smart. So we do still have the 5th overall pick. Obviously, there's some things we can do with that. I'm going to sit there at number 5. Just let's take a look at the summary. Ron Holland, Stefan Cassell, Adas Mara, and Isaac Amunsa. I don't know much about him. But yeah, I mean, we have our kind of pick of whoever we really want here. And there are obviously some really good players here. In terms of who I'm kind of thinking, I wouldn't mind maybe trying to get another guard, whether it's a backup shooting guard or a backup point guard or whatever it may be. And I'm kind of leaning Isaiah Collier. I've seen him develop really, really well in some of these videos. And Justin Edwards is just somebody I've drafted a few times before. So I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. But, you know, let's take Isaiah Collier. I'm hoping it ends up being the right pick for us. Obviously, that's going to be a backup for Scoot Henderson. And hopefully he's pretty good for us. He's going to lock in at a 77 overall at 18 years of age. So Shaedon Sharpe obviously going to be coming back as well. We take a look at qualifying offers. None of those guys are going to be qualified for me. And then entering free agency. Do we have any free agents? I don't really think we do. We also don't really have any money, unfortunately. So Micic can probably be moved right now, whether it's for a draft pick or something else. I'm still waiting to decide, but I think I'm probably going to keep both Ayton and Williams, at least for now. Excited to see how to have them, you know, a full year with a new team, see how they kind of fit together. But other than that, I mean, maybe a new backup shooting guard and potentially an upgrade to the backup power forward spot. I don't really have much else. So in terms of some options here, I mean, Anthony Melton wouldn't be a terrible option. There's definitely some flexibility there. Maybe even Taylor Horton-Tucker. Really not the shooting guard mold, but I don't know. Power forward. Ooh, Caleb Martin. Let's sign Caleb Martin to a deal. He wants a lot of money, and I don't know if he's going to accept that, and he does. Okay, cool. I think that's a really good get for our bench. I think a veteran like him that obviously has some experience, and that's a really good pickup right there. So he's going to be the new backup power forward. We're now going to find a trade for a backup shooting guard. We're going to be making this trade here with the Charlotte Hornets, sending them Micic, Murray, and Rupert for Terry Rozier and Nick Richards. Now, obviously, as you can probably figure out, the money doesn't work. We still actually have a trade exception from the Malcolm Brogdon trade, meaning we can fit Terry Rozier in here, and he's going to be my new backup shooting guard. So obviously getting another veteran guard off the bench is great, especially because we have 2 really young point guards. And I think this team's all going to fit together very, very well. So I'm not making any other major changes besides that. Nick Richards is cool to have, and maybe there's an argument to keep him if this was like a real-life team. I don't need him right now. I really don't. I don't need a third center when everybody plays 82 games all the time. So let's just try to find some sort of draft pick. Lakers picking 28. That is a first. Let's actually do this with Houston. And then Jacques Londale kind of leaves me in the similar spot, but I don't need him either. So I don't know. Just another draft pick, hopefully. Thank you very much, San Antonio. All right. I don't really think there's anything else coming our way. We actually don't have our first round pick next year. So that is definitely something, or definitely one of the reasons we're trying to make this team competitive. And I think we've done that. So let's set the rotation here. And I'll see you guys at the start of I can't fucking speak. Year 2. It's now year 2 for us here in Portland. We've gone ahead and made some major upgrades to this team. And I am very, very excited to see how it kind of all works out. So obviously there's really no like 90 plus superstars on this team right now. But it is definitely a very deep team, and it is a very, very good group. So I'm very excited to see how this kind of all works out for year 2. Scoot Henderson and Anthony Simons, obviously the backcourt. Shaedon Sharpe here at the 3. Funny enough, the game actually wants me to start Matisse Thybulle over Shaedon Sharpe. There's just no fucking chance I do that, but thank you, 2K. Newly acquired Julius Randle here at our power forward spot, and DeAndre Ayton still going strong at our center position. This would be an interesting front court, to say the least. Terry Rozier is going to be my 6th man off the bench. I know he's not the highest overall. I typically don't really like big men as 6th man. I like a guard or a wing. Robert Williams is obviously a center, so I just something I always have done and always liked. So Terry, Robert Williams, Caleb Martin, Isaiah Collier, and Matisse Thybulle. So I'm excited to see this team in action. I think we can be really good. I fully expect to be a playoff team, and hopefully 2K agrees. I'll see you guys at the end of year 2. We wrap up year 2 with a record of 47 and 35. Obviously, that is awesome. We're not quite in that top tier of contenders yet, but a playoff season is going to be very, very good for this team. I truly feel that way. All right, Darius Garland is your MVP. You saw that date back to last year. He always wins an MVP. I don't know why, but shout out 2K. Bronny James is in Miami, and he is your Rookie of the Year. He was number 20 overall. Wow. I mean, obviously LeBron wants to play with Bronny, and obviously Miami would, make sense as a destination because obviously LeBron's played there before. But I don't see a way. I think no matter how good or maybe not good, whatever Bronny ends up being, I think there's like a decent chance he gets taken higher than he probably would have if LeBron didn't say that he wants to play with this kid. I just think that's the reality. I know that's not some hot take. I know a lot of people probably think that way. It's just Kind of crazy. I mean, it is. DeMar is back in Toronto and is your 6th man of the year. Impressive season from him. Giannis is your DPOY. Tyrese Maxey, most improved. Anthony Edwards, clutch player of the year. JB Bickerstaff, coach of the year. So you can see right there, we're actually a 4 seed. Let's take a full look at the standings right now. 47 wins gives us a 4 seed. I can live with that. Again, I stand by what I said. I don't think we're in that like upper echelon of contenders, but really good season for us nonetheless. And obviously, hopefully a successful playoff run coming up. So Julius Randle, Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, DeAndre Ayton, Terry Rozier, Shaden Sharp, Isaiah Collier, Caleb Martin, Rob Will, Matisse Thybulle. In terms of rebounds, it was DeAndre Ayton, and assist was Scoot Henderson. So Memphis here in round 1. Definitely not the easiest matchup in the world. John Morant, Klay Thompson. Oh my God, can you imagine Klay Thompson in Memphis? Oh my God. Gary Trent Jr., Triple J, Steven Adams, got Marcus Smart off the bench, Brandon Clark, Santi Aldama. All right, let's go through this first round here. Obviously, I think Memphis has the best player in the series, but I think our team is a little bit deeper, so who knows what happens. We're up 3-2 right now, and we actually win in 6. Cool. And we're moving on to take on the 1-seeded Kings, who actually, as if my memory serves me correctly, were not a playoff team last year. So from kind of almost worst to first. Not exactly, but you know what I'm saying. De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, Mackenzie Mbako, Keegan Murray, Demonis Sabonis, Jalen Duren off the bench now, Davion Mitchell, Trey Lyles. Yeah, I'm surprised this team wasn't in the playoffs last year. I mean, they're definitely playoff talented, so we'll see. We're down 3-1 at the moment, and we do get bounced in the Western Conference semifinals. So disappointing end to a really, really fun and really, really productive season, and we're hoping for our final season here in Portland. We can build upon this and hopefully capture a championship in our last one. So let's just get into it. LeBron retired as a Hornet. What? Oh, man. All right, staff retirements. Cool. Hall of Fame inductees. LeBron, jersey retirements. LeBron, Draymond, and Blake Griffin. Draymond Green is without a doubt a Hall of Famer. There's really no arguing that. All right, so draft lottery time. We obviously don't have our pick. I don't think we've traded for any picks that would be in the lottery, so let's just sim through this. Spurs, Bulls, Thunder, Magic, and Pacers. Let's hit staff signing. And we have to make a decision. Do we feel confident enough with Chauncey Billups moving forward into a championship hopeful season? Do we think Chauncey Billups can be a championship-winning NBA head coach? I don't know. I really don't. I think his ratings are fine, and I think they're probably good enough if this team had like superstars. I just don't think we have those superstars. So I'm leaning towards moving in a different direction. But we had like in terms of what I would consider a successful season last year. So that makes it a little bit challenging for me. Let's just look who's here. But Stauffer's here. I think Stauffer could be really beneficial. So you know what? I'm going to go for it. I think Mike Stauffer can help this team a lot heading into a championship hopeful season. Obviously, this team is maybe not as good as some of my other championship teams, and obviously a coach with literally perfect ratings can help that out. So I'm going for it. It is what it is. Sue me. Let's head up to the draft. We have no first-round picks this year, which is fine. No matter who we drafted, they were not going to help this team win a championship. So Julius Randle is heading to free agency. Matisse Thybulle picks up his player options. We're obviously bringing back Sharp and Henderson on their team options. So Julius Randle is a big free agent for me. I definitely cannot just lose him for nothing. And yeah, I mean, other than that, we don't really have much money. So like, I'd love to sign Giannis. It's just not going to happen, unfortunately. So let's go out and re-sign Julius Randle. Let's give him a bunch of money. He comes back. Everybody else pretty much free to leave. And we actually have an $8 million trade exception there for Jock Lawndale. So that's pretty cool. And then we have to make some decisions if we want to make some upgrades some places. I think there's definitely an argument for that. So let's see what we can do. Oh my God, we just pulled off a blockbuster, and I'm kind of mad about it. I think I gave up too much. I mean, it's for a really good player in Anthony Edwards, but I gave up so much to get this done. So let's just go over to our team real quick. I think hopefully it shows the full trade. It's not even going to show the full trade, but it was Edwards, Sharp, Rozier, and I also went ahead, or excuse me, it was Shaden Sharp, Rozier, and Isaiah Collier, I think along with 3 firsts, and we got Anthony Edwards. So Ant's obviously going to be incredible here. I did this trade because I really did think we needed an upgrade in the starting 5 somewhere. I felt like we needed a superstar if we wanted to win a championship. And obviously we went out and got one. So, yeah, welcome to the team, Anthony Edwards. I wasn't mad about trading Collier. I think he would have progressed well. Unfortunately, he's just never going to get the minutes here to really make as serious of an impact as we kind of wanted him to. So, obviously, Scoot Henderson's been playing well for us. Terry Rozier is probably replaceable. He was almost, I think he's actually 30 plus. And then obviously I'm excited to have Ant here while keeping Caleb Martin, which I think is big, and Robert Williams. So we basically need to find ourselves some new backup guards at this point in time, which again is a lot easier said than done. I mean, we can't just go out and sign whoever we want. We're pretty limited with some money we have, but I wouldn't mind bringing in like a Jose Alvarado, could be a good veteran off the bench. And then other than that, yeah, I'm not loving these options. So I'm going to get a little cheesy here. We're going to bring in Billy Hernangomez and Devontae Graham, and then we're going to include them both in a trade. We actually also have a trade exception, so hang with me while we find a trade for a new backup shooting guard. We're making a deal here with Atlanta. We're sending Devontae Graham, Billy Hernan-Gomez, a future first and a future second for Kobe Buffkin and a future first-round pick. Now, obviously, this isn't some significant 80-plus overall upgrade, and maybe at the start of year number 3, I actually look for a serious upgrade. But again, these guys are both going to be number 9 and number 10 on this rotation, so not necessarily terribly worried about it, and obviously very excited to have Anthony Edwards here. So, all right, man, we obviously made some changes. Let's set the rotation. I'll see you guys at the start of year 3. We're here at the start of year 3, and I'm going to make this trade with Detroit. We're sending them Kobe Buffkin, Alex Caruso, and a 2026 first for Kelly Oubre Jr. and another 2026 first. Kelly Oubre Jr. obviously is a little bit better at this point in time, and you might be saying, well, you have 2 small forwards now or 2 backup small forwards. I feel like I can easily move Matisse Thybulle, or maybe not, actually. I don't know. But I feel like I can easily trade Matisse Thybulle. Like, he's making $11 million and go out and get a different shooting guard. Like, these are easier moves to make than what I had before. So, oh, wow, that's actually a fun trade. I just don't need those positions. I'm getting way ahead of myself. Markelle Fultz, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to seriously make a lot of moves right now. We're going to change kind of the dynamic of this team here. So, Jose Alvarado, and how about Amir Coffey and a future first, and just give me a shooting guard and we can kind of call it a day. I mean, that's all I really need at this point in time. Does not need to, ooh, Isaiah Joe. Isaiah Joe might be my guy. Again, I'm not trying to go out and, like, completely cheese this game, but I really think we need upgrades. So Isaiah Joe is going to be my guy. I will see you guys. Actually, you guys probably fucking hate me right now. I'm trying to get the best player possible because I genuinely believe this team can win a championship, and I want to do everything in my power to make sure that happens. Christian Brown is here. I just know his overall goes down at shooting guard. I'll either see you guys in the rotation or hang with me. We're going to try to trade for Malachi Branham from the San Antonio Spurs. I have 3 first-round picks left. I obviously cannot take them with me to the next rebuild, and I would like to get this done. It only takes 2. That's awesome. Let's set this rotation. After a shit ton of trades, some necessary, some maybe not necessary, some good, some bad, whatever you want to call it, we're ready for the final season. I'm very excited to see how this all kind of works out, and I think this team is ready to go. Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, newly acquired Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, and DeAndre Ayton. Bench unit, Malachi Branham going to be our new 6th man, followed by Robert Williams III, Markelle Fultz, Caleb Martin, and Kelly Oubre Jr. So, a lot of trades, but I think this team definitely got better from what we had last year. Hopefully a championship team. I'll see you guys at the end of the final season. It is back-to-back MVPs for Darius Garland. More importantly, we go 68-14 in our final season here in Portland. So I'm feeling really, really good. We obviously made it to the second round of the playoffs last year. We're hoping to go all the way this year, win a championship. So Darius Garland, Cooper Flagg's Rookie of the Year. He is a Chicago Bull. Amen Thompson, 6th man. Victor Wembanyama is your DPOY. Isaiah Collier, most improved. Darius Garland, Clutch Player of the Year. And Mike Stauffer wins Coach of the Year. So 68 wins is obviously awesome. That's obviously going to be the number 1 seed. And it is the best record in all of basketball. Let's take a look at the stats real quick. Check out who played well, who did not. Anthony Edwards, Scoot Henderson, Julius Randle, Anthony Simons, Ayton Branham. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing with this team is, like, I fully would expect Anthony Edwards to average way closer to 30 than 20. But obviously, with how much talent on this team and how many guys can score the basketball, I really don't care too much. I can definitely live with it. So let's just get into the playoffs. Who's going to be round 1? It's the Lakers. D'Lo, Reeves, Aaron Nesmith. Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, no LeBron, no problem, right? Okay, it actually went to 7. Holy shit. Moving on to the Golden State Warriors here in the second round. Steph Curry's still here. Obviously, Klay Thompson, we saw it was in Memphis last year. Michael Porter Jr. is off the bench for this team now, and interesting. All right, let's see what happens here in the second round, Western Conference Finals. This is obviously where we lost last year, and this is where we win this year. Western Conference Finals time. It is us in the New Orleans Pelicans. Jordan Hawkins, Dyson Daniels, Corey Kispert, Zion Williamson, Kyle Flipkowski. I think this team is very, very beatable. I mean, it's like Zion and the Funky Bunch, right? I mean, there's no way that we lose this Pelicans team, right? All right, cool. We are back in there, not back. We are in the NBA Finals, and we're going to be taking on 2-time MVP, 1-time final MVP, Darius Garland, and the rest of the Cavs. They have lost Donovan Mitchell, so that is definitely something to keep our eye on, but they are still a really, really good team. So we actually dropped game 1, dropped game 2. Oh, my God. All right, we're fighting here a little bit. I'm not going to hop in unless it's, like, close or anything like that. It's just, this game loves the Cavs. I will say that. Like, they don't even have the best player on their team anymore, and we're just getting skull-fucked here in the NBA Finals. We got to stop with the Darius Garland love. I mean, we do, right? I mean, he's scoring like Steph. He's passing like Magic. We gotta pump the brakes. I mean, this dude is good. Do not get me wrong. But he should not be, like, the greatest point guard in NBA history. And that's what 2K makes him out to be. So, I'm not going to take a moral victory, but I do think we should have probably won that series. I think our depth is better. I think not that that matters as much in the playoffs, but obviously I just think our team is better. I did. So tough loss is what it is. We learn and we move on. So I hope Trailblazers fans, I hope you're still happy with me. I think we built you a hell of a team, and I think you guys would fucking kill for a team like this right now. So that's it, man. As always, let me know any other video ideas down below in the comment section, and yeah, we're probably going to get to the rest of the rebuilds very, very soon. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.